Nice Vex, Alex.
Well, that's all I can say this episode as well.
For those of you who are expecting Gex, you were close. It's Vex. Battle of the Vectormen. AKA Vectorman. 1 and 2. It's Turbo Throwdown time.
Are they Vectormans or Vectormen?
Let us know in the comments below.
That's... Welcome back to the Turbo Throwdown, everybody. It's been a few weeks. You know, you gotta focus when you're doing Vectorman and Vectorman 2. You gotta put in the time, you know?
They're surprisingly lengthy. They take multiple days. Some might say. Yeah. Vectorman. Yeah, so last time we did the throwdown with Golden Axe. No, we didn't do Golden Axe Street Series. We did Sonic 1 and Sonic 2.
Sonic.
It was Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. It was a close bout. It was an honest mix-up, right? You know, Streets of Rage, Sonic, you know. But Sonic 2 claimed the throne. We agreed. Very proud. Go back and listen to the episode. It was a banger. It was a real throwdown. We threw down some words, some fighting words, but Sonic won in the end. And much like Sonic, we're here today to pit Vectorman up against himself in the future. Future.
Vectorman and Vectorman 2. Two games in a series that is seamlessly, other than like being thrown on the collections, like seems like Sega doesn't really know they own this. Where is Vectorman? Is he like in the back of a broom closet? Like you see mentions of like Golden Axe, Alex Kidd, Streets of Rage every once in a while. I don't know if they know Vectorman's the thing.
That's shocking. It's like they had one failure and they were like, all right, guys, time to call it quits. Vectorman could go in the broom closet.
No, actually, I was reading. I knew they actually were working on a PS2 game in the series at one point, and that got scrapped, and it looked like a shooter anyway. So whatever, that's not what I want. But apparently, there was also a Saturn game that got scrapped. So poor Vectorman.
Yeah, Vectorman's a pretty cool dude, and if you're a cool dude, whatever gender, be sure to subscribe. We got a lot of good, cool content for you here on the Turbo Throwdown. And check out Alex on Tabazone.
We're also on the Button Mappers, of course, where we talk about, I don't know, stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, just every Monday.
Who knows? Who knows what we're doing over there every Monday? Welcome back to the Turbo Throwdown, where this is a bracket-style competition tournament thing. That's the official name, where we are taking the games from Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection and throwing them against each other. Very hard.
Throw it.
Seeing who survived.
Throw it down.
And the winner of each round goes on to a new round. So we're still on the first bout here. We're going through all the games, and who will win, Vectorman or Vectorman? Also,
ready to square up. This is me in the mirror every morning, except with Vectorman. I will be representing Vectorman 1.
He'll be representing Vectorman 2.
We'll both be representing Vectorman today.
We are both Vectormen.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a Vectorman?
If you like the alligator in the Sonic franchise.
I do.
Okay.
That's the one that goes, find the computer rooms.
Then you're a Vectorman.
All right, are you ready to jump in?
That was my jump. Sitting jump. Vectorman. Jump. Thanks. Vectorman. What a classic. This is my Vectorman pose. Not to be confused with Goku. Vectorman is definitely an iconic Sega Genesis 2D platformer. I think it's one that a lot of people think of when they think of, oh, what's a cool game on the Genesis? It is a game I have a lot of nostalgia for. I did not have a Genesis back in the 90s, but I had a friend who did. And Vectorman was one of 3 games I remembered playing. And part of what made Vectorman so cool was his style. He's just really cool. You know, you could see him like in the screen sometimes, and he's just kind of like going like, you know, his like still action frame. He's, you know, in the startup to the game, you can actually shoot the logo before you even start the game. You can make the lights go out. It's kind of iconic in a sense. It's definitely not the best action platformer. There are better even on the same console, but it's just so expansive. There's a number of what they call days in the game. Every day represents another day in Vectorman's life. There's kind of a plot to it too. I'll read this from the Wikipedia and we'll go from there. The game takes place in a future where the Earth has been largely destroyed by humans through pollution. Basically the precursor to Wall-E. Humanity temporarily migrates to distant outer space while they leave Orbots, a portmanteau of orbs and robots, to clean up the planet while they're away. Raster, one of the higher level supervisory robots, is accidentally connected to a nuclear warhead missile, which radically alters his behavior, transforming him into a tyrannical overlord. Now known by the name Warhead, he gains control of all robots and plans to declare war on humanity upon their return. One robot, Vectorman, had been off on a mission in outer space, does not fall under his control, and upon seeing what's happening, decides to put a stop to Warhead's plans. So it's basically just a nice framework that gives you an excuse as Vectorman to come back to the planet. You go through these kind of industrial environments that are clearly overrun with these robots, and a lot of like memorable action happens on screen. I think the first stage even, you've got these kind of like, it's a big kind of open industrial area where you can kind of float and jump as Vectorman. There's all these, they're called photons, these like flashy things. It's, I guess, the equivalent of like the Sonic ring that are in the stage. Every stage has a certain set number, but then like also you'll have these spinning TVs. When you shoot the TVs, you can get the power-ups. Vectorman controls pretty well. You would call this, I guess, like a run and gun, but it's not exactly. Vectorman can aim up, down, left, right, and then diagonals. But the thing is, you can't do a fixed shot. You can only do a moving shot. So then the controls can be kind of difficult to grasp, I would say. But and I think the thing that's tough for me is, like, say you want to hit it at a diagonal. You would have to kind of like run and go back and stuff, or sometimes you do a jump or a double jump and like keep jumping up and try and hit the TV. Overall, it's functional. It's not super, I don't have the right word for it. It's not like super clean, I guess, compared to, I don't know, like Sonic or something, but for what it is, I really like it. The stages themselves are probably the highlights. I think there's just such a nice variety in what you're doing. I think of like this ocean level on stage 3 has some memorable music by John Holland. This is one of the few Sega Genesis games that has a Sega CD title after it. They're called Sega Tunes, and it's kind of like a remaster version of the soundtrack. Why was it made? Because the soundtrack was so iconic. John Holland hasn't really done anything since. In fact, this company that developed the game, Blue Sky Software, they're really not known for much. Some stuff on the Ataris, Amigas, Commodores, Master System, Game Gear, a couple of Genesis titles, and it pretty much stops there. Shout outs to Ninja Golf, though. But Vectorman is... Say one more time.
That's a good game.
Yeah. Vectorman definitely has its moments that are really cool. And I think, it's often compared to Donkey Kong Country. That's kind of, I don't know if it's a great comparison, but I think that as far as this kind of like open action adventure goes with like stage progression, it's unique and it's cool in its own right.
Yeah, I think the comparisons to Donkey Country are just based on like the pre-rendered style of graphics that you see, which, are pretty impressive in this first game on the Genesis. Came out in '95. The Genesis, isn't really known for being a powerhouse, I guess, graphically, as the Super Nintendo was, but it has its own perks. The speed of which it can run is one of them. But this game looks good. Like, I remember, like, the first time I ever played it, which I have both these games on my actual Genesis. First time I ever played the first game, and just like looking around the background and seeing like the flag animations of like the purple flags in the first level, like it's really impressive what they were able to do with this title.
Yeah, some really good backdrops, like a kind of crimson sunset, or like one thing that they do is they like change the coloring for some of the levels. It's somewhat noticeable. Like there's these kind of like dark areas, but I think the backgrounds themselves are beautiful. I remember one that's like a later stage where you're going through this kind of like warehouse, and they have like TVs that are projecting stuff, and then you fight these like 3D polygon guys. It's a really cool juxtaposition. It's some really interesting boss battles. They're not like the best, but I think they're cool for what they are. You fight the giant overhead copter. You fight those polygon guys. You fight Warhead himself. There's like an Arctic polar bear that suddenly turns into a phoenix. I don't know.
Oh, that boss is a bitch.
It sucks. There's a strategy to it though, so. That's one of those ones where it's really hard to do the diagonal shot. You keep going back and forth on the screen.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I feel like this game, it's always been a game for me that is difficult, but I think it's fair. I think with the size of some of the the character sprites, like Vectorman himself, who is cool. He's comprised of balls. Who's in love balls? It is cool to see like the big sprites, but they can take up a lot of the screen. But I feel like it's a game that is difficult, but also fair. I feel like I never felt like this game was being too cheap, in its difficulty, but it is definitely a challenge at points.
Agreed. Vectorman. Oh, there was a contest. There was a $25,000 contest to like a lucky winner.
Did you win?
No, it's too late. Could have.
Damn.
Would've been nice.
I won.
I want to know who that was. Who won the Vectorman contest?
Who knows? Unless they've come out publicly online or something now. I guess we'll never know.
No. Definitely Jimmy Genesis.
It was probably Jimmy Genesis. I think he would have beaten Vectorman 1. But can he beat Vectorman 2? That's the question, right?
That's a great question.
So I've owned Vectorman 2 for a pretty long time now. But today, the day of recording, was the first time I had ever actually beaten this title. Vectorman 2 is the sequel to Vectorman 1. Who would have thought? It's after saving Earth in the previous game, Vectorman's spaceship is targeted and destroyed by a missile. I love this cutscene, by the way, at the opening of the game. There's like a goofy looking shot of Vectorman just like rocking, like he turns on the radio and he's rocking out in his ship, and it's stupid looking, but I love it. Vectorman escapes and parachutes down to the planet, landing by an old research facility. While investigating the area, Vectorman finds aggressive and destructive mutant insects inhabiting the area. Vectorman takes it upon himself to explore and eliminate the mutant insects to save the planet. So in the first game, you were in a lot of like industrial areas. In this game, it's a lot more like natural looking environments, which can be cool. And all the enemies are bugs. So the photon thing is still there. You still collect photons. Instead of collecting the TVs like in the first game, you collect what they call power bags, which I think is hilarious. There's these green sacks hanging from the ceilings. Power bags. I love when I finished a stage and it said, you got 8 out of 9 power bags. I'm like, what the fuck's a power bag? Vectorman 2 feels like they finished Vectorman 1 and they said, what if we just kept making Vectorman like the same. Like, what if we just kept making the first game, and then they also just forgot how to make levels properly? Because Vectorman 2 is tough. It starts out very tough. Makes a really bad first impression, to be honest. First 3-4 stages are brutal and long, and you will probably turn the game off. That's what I did many times playing this game. And there's a lot of really maze-like level designs in this title that I don't really think I remember seeing much in the first game, where there were points in this one where I was just looking around like, where the hell do I need to go now? Like, how the hell do I get off of this stage? I don't quite understand. It controls much like the first game. I mean, exactly like the first game, to be honest. There are some fun power-ups in this one. Some fun transformations for Vectorman. There's one where you turn into like a scorpion and you can scuttle across some lava. There's one where you get like a big fist and you can punch things, which is funny. And my favorite one, there's one where you get like a rhino ability and you can charge through walls and enemies and stuff. Those are pretty cool. There's like rollerblading levels now, so if you want to rollerblade through some areas, you can do that in this game. So, all you rollerblading fans, I guess it was 1996. Yeah, I don't know, it's Vectorman 2.
It's a lot that is like the same, but it's a lot that's like changed as well. I'm with you. I have booted up Vectorman several times and played it, a decent chunk or finished it. Whereas Vectorman 2, prior to this recording, and even still during this recording, I have not finished. I came close on my file. I'll probably finish it later, but the incentive just isn't the same. We'll come back to pros and cons, but there is something that is a little more jarring about Vectorman 2 compared to Vectorman 1.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we should just jump into it because it seems like we're both leaning in the same direction here, so we should probably do some pros and cons.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
I'm supposed to be here to represent Vectorman 2, but I just played through it today and I did not appreciate that. So I want to talk about it. Okay. Vectorman 1, as I said, feels challenging but fair. Vectorman 2 does not care about you. Vectorman 2 will kill your girlfriend and then make out with your dad. It does not give a shit about your well-being, and I felt that through the entire game. It got to the point I was playing on the collection on Switch to, just for ease of access, and it got to the point near the end of the game where there were so many cheap shots, I feel, cheap enemy placement and just unavoidable projectiles, that I started using the rewind button. Because I was like, I'm not doing this whole section over again. Like, I'm not retracing my steps through this maze of a level. I'm not climbing my way back up this fucking tree. Like, no.
The tree. Oh my god.
I fell from the very top of that fucking tree level, and I honestly, that's when it dawned on me that I could rewind in the Switch version, because I was like, oh god damn it, I can climb this whole thing. And then I started climbing, and then I went to do something and I pushed I went to suspend the game, and I thought I was, I guess on the NES Online and stuff, you can, push the shoulder buttons. So I pushed one of the shoulder buttons and it rewound, and I was like, oh shit, wait a second, I can rewind. So I just rewound myself back up the tree because I was like, this is fucking.
That's not stage 2 or something.
It's like stage 4, I think, 3 or 4, because the first one is the parachute, which isn't terrible. It's short,
right?
And then the first actual stage, you're like going underground and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's technically stage 2. So I want to say it's either 3 or 4.
I think it's 4 because there's like a spider boss right after that.
It's at the very beginning. Yeah. And that tree level is such a turnoff for this game.
I couldn't imagine playing this on original hardware. That's a big fuck you, that stage. And there's another big fuck you to me, which is when they litter the stage with those blocks.
Oh, yes. What they love to do. in multiple stages.
It's a recurring theme. They do it several times. It's in succession. There's a part where you have to do that right before a boss battle, and that boss battle's garbage.
Wait, so the first Vectorman was developed by Blue Sky, right?
Yes.
This was developed by Drooling Dogs Studio.
Aptly titled.
in conjunction with Blue Sky. But they, whenever you finish the game, like the credits has the like Drooling Dog logo all over the background. So I take it they were handed Vectorman 2.
It's like, well, it's like you took Vectorman and you gave it to a dog that drooled all over it.
I think this is the first time in this show's Turbo Throwdown history that I don't even know if we need to vote for this episode. Like, this is rough.
Oh my gosh. It's hard. It's hard because you know what? Vectorman is supposed to be like the cool guy. So like you would hope that the sequel would like take the formula and improve on it. I think we could, I don't think we need to vote. We'll say the officially at the end. But, I think we should acknowledge, are there things that Vectorman 2 does well?
Yeah, the power-ups I think are a great inclusion. Getting different forms and stuff was fun. That was like one of the few points in the game where I was like, I'm having some semblance of fun. And the rollerblading areas can be fun, but also where you're moving so fast and the sprites are very big, it's really easy to run into things. So take that for what it's will, but it is fun at points for that. And I do like some of the environments. I really, what level I did enjoy, not the layout, but just like the design and the background stuff, was that tornado one. It was called Shout and Twist. It was like, there's a big tornado in the background and you get a tornado power up and you get to turn into a tornado for a few minutes. The level design was iffy because, again, it was more of a maze, so it took me a while to get through that one, but the theming was cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's some cool themes. Like, there's even like the second to last, because the last area, like the last boss is like a big spider, so it's like the second to last level is this like almost like alien looking area with these big green eggs and stuff, and that was kind of neat. Like it was kind of like atmospheric, I could see what they were trying to go for with the mutant insect plot and stuff. I'll give them that.
Yeah, even the first, the hard thing is, it starts with such a cool segment, like him, bopping his head and then, getting dropped in and, you're floating down helicopter style. You would expect this to be, a really great presentation for, the majority of the game. And, I don't know that it follows that up as successfully. The rollerblading is iffy. The tank is fine, I guess. We already talked about the rollerblades. Rollerblades, yeah, more of that. The blocks in the thing are not great. There's something else that I kind of appreciate. Oh, bonus stages. I played so many more bonus stages in this one for some reason than I did in the first one. And you actually get the power-ups to your health that help out a lot with the difficulty. You can get a bunch of one-ups that way. I think I had close to 10 or 15 lives throughout most of the playthrough. And they're pretty nifty. There's one where you're floating around space. There's another one where it's a shooter segment. I don't remember any from the first game. I think there were some. I will say that I think the transformation thing is, I don't know, it's probably handled better in this game than the first one, although there are transformations in the first one I like. I like when Vectorman becomes like a fish and starts swimming through a water level in the first game. I like the bomb power-up. I think that's well used as far as secrets and stuff go in the first game.
This bomb's cool anyway. Like when you first get that bomb power-up, it kind of throws you off. It's because it's the first one you get, and you're like, what's happening? And you're just rolling around as a bomb for a few minutes, and you explode.
Yeah.
I always found it to be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the first game, I think, I would describe it as a little bit experimental because, the second stage in that game, you're on the railroad and you're shooting the hands that come up and try and grab at you, and it's just you're not expecting it. It's just so different, and they do that a couple times throughout the game. There's another one where you're on a disco tile, thing, and you're like a tornado, and you're trying to aim your shots at like the middle of the screen. It's kind of weird, but it's functional enough. I think I just appreciate the variety a little more in the first Vectorman, whereas the second one felt like they were rehashing a couple things throughout the game, and none of them were particularly striking, in my opinion.
It's just funny because the first game has 16 stages, and the second game has 22 stages, and somehow it feels like the first game has more stages. Isn't that crazy?
And I felt more enticed to explore in the first game, whereas this one I was just rushing to like try and get through each stage.
Yeah, when I got to the end, I was like, can I be done? Like, can I finish this? Like, it was probably when I got to either the tank or the tornado area, and or it was somewhere near there. I was just like, can I be finished with this game?
Yeah, I got to the tank area. I was just like, this is still going? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, something was lost in translation, man, between the first and second game. It's just, again, this is the most one-sided episode we've ever had because I can't in good faith stand up for this second game. I gave it an honest shot. I honestly did. I went in. I knew I didn't like the first few stages, but I was like, you know what? Maybe if I get past that fucking tree stage, maybe the game turns into something. And it didn't.
Now we know. Ready to vote?
I don't even know if we need to vote. We didn't even do like the whole process like usual in this episode.
Oh, it's pretty fucking obvious. Congratulations, Vectorman 1. You win the Turbo Throwdown this week.
Vectorman 1. It's a cool. Vectorman 1's a cool game. And you know, we've been harping on Vectorman 2 this whole time. I just want to make sure people know Vectorman 1 is a good game. Like, I've played that game a bunch on Genesis. It's very enjoyable. It's a game that I would recommend if you like I guess run and gun platformers. Like I don't know, like what I would compare it to. Mega Man, I guess.
Gunstar Heroes, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, it's really unique. It's like Vectorman 1 is funky. Like, yeah. Vectorman 2 is funky. Like, no. Yeah, ooh.
Vectorman 2, more like Vectorman, ooh.
Or like Vectorman poo.
Well, I'm sure there are some Vectorman 2 advocates out there. Let us know why we're wrong, I guess. But actually, let us know why we're right, because we are. Vectorman 1, congratulations. You'll go on to the next Turbo Throwdown Round 2. Alex, want to announce the next episode?
The next episode is one that people have been looking forward to. I know a certain Spencer has been looking forward to this one. That's right. We're doing E-SWAT versus Super Thunderblade.
Oh!
I'm E-SWAT.
And I'm the Super Thunderblade.
Curveball.
I know Spencer loves helicopter games.
Yeah, and guys in mech suits.
Call in the SWAT team.
Ooh, SWAT. I hope you're ready for me to say that a million times because that's my favorite thing about that game. It's the title screen.
Well, I'm going to hit you with a Super Thunderblade. I don't know.
Is there like a... No, I think it just plays music. I was hoping there would be like a Super Thunderblade or something. You know, but I don't think it does. I think that would just play some like twangy music.
It'll be an exciting episode. Stay tuned. It'll be a battle of the aerials. This was a battle of Vectormans, and the winner was, probably pretty obvious. But congratulations, Vectorman.
No wheel of names needed today.
But maybe next time, where your vote counts. Let us know how you would have voted. Vectorman 1 versus Vectorman 2. Can we go out on our best Vectorman impression?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a visual representation. Oh yeah, we could both do the sound effect.
Oh, okay. Well, that or we can do the Vectorman 2 dance when he's in his cockpit. You want to do that one?
Yeah. Well, I'll do a Vectorman 1 impression, and you do the Vectorman 2, and then we'll both go out on his sound effect.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yeah.
2, 1.
Oh.
Whoa! See you next time.
Sure. That's what he's doing the whole time. He's like he's like doing this.
I just like how he's like, I don't got time for this.
Can you put some Vectorman music over this? Because he's like. That's how I'm start dancing in my car whenever I turn on music in my car.
So you're there in your car.
Whoa!